YouTube friend and subscriber, Matthew. This one is for them. But hey, what's going on with the cam? Is the cam off now? Oh Lord. Okay, I may need to restart. Apologies, fellas. What happened with the webcam previously? What happened with the webcam previously? I noticed that it just froze, just like that, out of the blue. Okay, so again, I will be analyzing the next 10 minutes, more or less, a game that my YouTuber friend Matthew submitted and subscriber. So YouTube subscriber and friend Matthew submitted the game. Before then, I think I forgotten to put the TikTok Live Center monitor or something, so I'm not able to read the messages. So you guys, pardon me just for a sec. I will be adding now TikTok Live monitor. So I mean something like this, because I can't see any possible messages or nothing, so I have to try to fix this thing. Okay, back to business now. I hope it works. And all right, so back to Matthew's game that we said. Is it should I have opened it in a different browser? Okay, I don't know, it doesn't matter. Okay, let's just go on with this. So Matthew played with the Y pieces. He played this game, I think, with the other platform. The other platform meaning chess.com, right? But it's not important. What's important is what happened in the game. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, very theoretical, and d4 being played here. The Scotch game. So Matthew, that's a very good choice. Not a problem. You strike in the center immediately. Boom. d4. There's nothing wrong. Now, am I actually multi-broadcasting? Because I remember I put in the software. YouTube and Facebook and Twitch and stuff. So I hope I am. Okay, let's go on. So ED, knight takes, queen takes. Perfectly fine. Not a problem. D6 being played here by black. And Matthew continues with knight c3. I don't see anything wrong with this. Bishop e6. Now, Matthew, so I think we start now looking into the depth of the positions here. If I were white here, I'd definitely think about playing some f4. Because they played the bishop, Matthew, I'd really think into f4 and f5. I like to hit that bishop on e6 if I can. So, and given the fact that the bishop on f8 can't really make it on c6 or anything, probably I'd be seriously considering f4. Hi there, Mr. Stockfish. Yeah, we could do for the puzzles after I do Matthew's game. Again, it's my YouTube subscriber and I promised them. They submitted the game and that's what I'm doing. But at the end of it, totally. Hello, Anirudh. So bishop c4. Okay, it's like you're helping the guy to trade off if they want to, Matthew. Bishop c4. I don't like that much c5 they played. Your opponent, that is. Why? Because he creates a backward weak pawn, the d6. Yeah, it's currently defended by the bishop and by the queen, but doesn't look okay. Rather c6 than c5. So rather c6 maybe. c5 weakens the d6. Long term, I mean. Queen d3. Okay, you need to defend the bishop, by the way, which is attacked by the other bishop, so you have to. The guy took. Okay, you took. There's nothing wrong. It's perfectly fine. a6, obviously he wants to expand now with a6, b5. It is, I think, obvious, but I think it's a little bit premature for them to loot that because they haven't developed the knight, they haven't developed the bishop on f8, so pushing a6 and b5 without developing those two minor pieces and castle and king looks a little bit too risky for black. We're learning from it, Mr. Stockfish. We're learning from it. Okay, moving twice the same piece in the opening, I wouldn't necessarily advocate looking at this as a simple human, and um, I'd rather go maybe castle here or some bishop f4, bishop. So I'll get the bishop out or just castle rather than playing knight to d5, which I don't think, I mean, you don't lose the game or anything, but let's try to get the king to safety, or let's try to develop all of our pieces. It's important to keep up with the development. Okay, you move the knight, fine. Maybe you wanted for them to play something like knight f6 and then pin or something. b5 attacks the queen. Just move the queen to safety, which you did. And now they play knight f6. Okay, bishop g5. Well, that's a pin. I don't think you're doing bad with white here, Matthew. I don't think there was anything bad or something. It's fine. It's playable for both colors. But are you one step ahead because you could castle short or you could castle long? Maybe castle short. Bishop e7. So this is one moment here important. If you don't initiate the trades, if you don't start taking, knight e7 looks okay to me because you force them to take back with the queen and the knight on f6 is still in a pin, Matthew. So I would take on e7 or at least take the knight or something, because if you don't, the guy's going to take on d5. You just drop a piece here. And when you take with a bishop, the guy's going to take back with a knight. Therefore, you just lost a piece and you're going to lose the game. You castle, which is a blunder. Castling is great, but if you are about to be losing a minor piece, a piece, just simply solve the piece issue and then you castle the king. Probably castle short, although castle long might be interesting. Given the fact that the d6 is a weak pawn, potentially, probably castle long. But first thing first, you need to sort out the pieces here. Again, knight takes e7, bishop takes f6, one of these two, trade-off stuff, castle short, and you've got double attacking power on the d6 backward black pawn. Well, your avatar is Stockfish, so I guess you ask them for analysis. I don't ask them for analysis now. I'm just using my understanding, and then we can check with the almighty engine. But we're not going to be learning too much if we put the engine on, no? So let's try make an effort ourselves. Castle short, well, that's a blunder. And that's a blunder followed by black immediately, Matthew. So you were sort of lucky. You were given a chance now to take advantage of the position here. So castle short now, this is a blunder. And black immediately blundered soon after you with this castle short. They were supposed to take the knight. That's what they were supposed to do. They win a piece. So they give you a chance. Again, take on e7. Sorry. Knight takes e7. Bishop takes one of these two. Just get rid of the piece. Get some rook on the d. Attack on d6. So I think that's perfectly fine. Rook fe1. In principle, I understand why. It's a semi-open file. You may be planning on the future, to playing this. I understand, but it's a blunder in the current context here because black is winning the piece. So they took on d5, and now they just took a piece from you, by the way. If you take the knight with either, pawn, or you take with a queen, they're going to take on g5, and that's about it. You just lost the game. So you took the bishop, and now black is supposed to play the only correct move, which is knight captures e7. So this is the correct move for black to play here, because that's how they preserve a piece. But instead they took with a queen, so back to square one. So the guy blundered after you. So he blundered again. So now you take the knight, of course, and you attack the queen of tempo. He lost the chance to capitalize on her mistake. And yes, of course, you blundered too, but the other guy blundered as well. Queen to f6 attacking you on b2. So, excellent awareness. You understood that. You blocked at c3. Makes a lot of sense. Now we're going to be a battle for the e file. But it looks to me getting drawish here if everybody plays correctly. So he got a rook to challenge your rook on the e file. What did you play? Queen d2. I feel it like a backward move. I think we may initiate a little bit of rook lifting, not a little bit, just directly, a rook lift. So I'm suggesting to you, Matthew, to think about something like rook e3, maybe rook e2. Okay, let's look at rook e3. Rook e3, rook takes, queen takes, and then get the other rook on e1. I think that makes sense. I think probably makes sense. Yes, h3 probably can be played, but I'd like to, Mr. Stockfish, I'd like to get my rooks active, both of them if possible, on the e file. So queen d2 is a bit passive, not the end of the world, but I just don't feel it. And now look, the other guy plays the rook lift. I think you should take here again, Matthew. You should take here. Rook takes, whatever. If he takes with the queen, you would have played rook a e1 with tempo, attacking the queen, thus claiming the e file. So this kind of details, Matthew, they matter very much. Exactly these kind of details. That's what makes the difference in between winning or losing the particular endgame. You should have taken the rook. f4, probably playable, but I guess it's playable, but I think probably I would have taken f4. Weirdly enough, the guy goes with the rook on f5. I understand he wants to attack the pawn. I get it. I get it. But I suppose there is always g3. So you play g3 and I think it's fine. Aha. Queen e3. Okay. You want to do a back rank checkmate. You want to play queen to e8. Rook takes. Rook takes and checkmate. I understand. The guy plays king f8, stopping you exactly from doing that. Makes sense. That's a blunder, yeah. Again, that's a blunder. Rook a to d1, Matthew, is a sort of blunder because I think the f4 is incredibly important. Very important. Probably you are afraid of rook captures. Although I have to say, something like queen to e4 would have perhaps making a very nice threat. The rook is like sort of like pinned and stuff. So rather than rook a d1, I think g3 would have been very important to be played. Very important. Because you drop that guy on f4 and that's quite critical. Yeah, I don't know. You lost the pawn. And now you try to challenge. The guy takes, and you take with the rook. Let me look at the pawns. 3, 4, 7, 4, 2, 6. Yeah, he got more pawns than you. Pawn majority on the king side. And this guy on d5, your white pawn, Matthew, on d5, is a little bit disconnected. There is no other way to try to... I mean, you could try b3, c4, but I don't like it because I don't think black's going to wait for you to do that. They always have something like rook to e8, attacking queen and stuff. Okay, queen e5. So you took, the guy took. This move, rook fe1. So this move, rook fe1 here. Black can always reply something with something like f6. And you will not be able to take e5 anytime soon. The king finds its way towards the center of the board. I'm streaming. Send me a text or something. Or okay. So this pawn is not that much of a successful pass pawn because I'm imagining black can just stop it very easily. So again, e5 is easily defendable with f6. It's a very nice pawn structure there. You won't be able to challenge it. You've got 2v4. 2 pawns versus 4 black pawns. So crushing, overwhelming pawn majority on the king side now. So the game is starting to looking like lost here for white. And you won't be able to successfully push the pawn even if the rook goes behind the passed pawn because the king just stops it. And they could always attack it twice. You have no gaps. You have no open columns to go and challenge black on the 7th rank or anything. So f6, that makes sense. That's what I would have played as well. You try to do something on the a file, but he could just simply ignore it. Exactly. He could just ignore it. You try to centralize king. Rook goes now attacking your pawn. Now you took. He took. You still have an issue on the d5 pawn. So this guy is just very weak. You try to protect. The guy goes with the rook on the a file. So he claims the a, and not just claiming the a file. He practically can go from the side attacking your pawn on b2. You're starting having weaknesses here. The pawn can't really make it. Even if you push it, the king's going to go right in front of it. And then something like rook a6 and the pawn is goodbye. And then black's gonna have 6 black pawns versus 4. So white is lost now, I'd say. I think you've been quite lost for a while since those unnecessary trades and that f4 that you have given away, the pawn on f4 that you've given up. That thing was the last costly big blunder you made, Matthew. That doesn't work. Exactly. King to d7, right in front of the pawn. If black wants, again, rook a6, and you have no chance to defend that pawn. And black is incredibly eager to trade off the rooks. In the minute they trade off the rooks, they have an overwhelming pawn majority, and black is winning. That is that. There is no good moves here. Were they supposed to take? Was it necessary? Regardless. Yeah, okay. I think black is absolutely fine. Better than white. Better than white. Pawn majority on the king side. The black king is right where they're supposed to be. And after rook captures, the game is just simply over. There's no good moves for white. They're going to take. Whether you take or not is irrelevant, I think. Doesn't matter. Black is winning here. So, Matthew, I hope that was instructive and helpful. So the game is lost for white here. There's not too much to do. I think the last important thing that stuff could have gone maybe on a more positive note for you, Matthew, is here. So, okay, you threatened back rank checkmate. The guy played king f8 to stop the checkmate. Fine. And now, rather than rook a d1, Matthew, I would seriously recommend some g3 stuff. You play g3 and the game continues. You're not super ideal, but the game continues. You know, the game continues. You're doing fine. This one, I don't like it. Rook a d1. And now you've given up the rook on the e. You went to challenge the black rook. I'm not sure what else would have been playable here. That's just defensive passive. The guy takes, you take, and now he get the rook with tempo. So you've given up. You lost the e file. And let me say hello to my TikTokers. Hello, my TikTokers. Good to see you, lads. Thanks for following the ghost. Appreciate, great deal, important. So this one was for Matthew. I'm gonna let him know. So if he wants to revisit the first part of our live stream, how many minutes did it take? I have no idea. Probably 10 minutes more or less. Probably 10 minutes. Was this? I can't stream with this stuff. I can't stream. It's becoming increasingly difficult to stream when you do something else. Okay, where were we? Yes. Oh yeah, puzzles, yeah. Okay. Let me see if you guys see the entirety of the board. First thing. Yes, you do. But also let me resize the screen. So we can see more info available, like the number of the puzzles we did or we failed to solve and this and that. So let's see if that works a bit better. Okay, for the time being. We're going to resize again if necessary. So Stockfish, when you analyze in the first instance, you don't need to put the engine on. Try to go through the moves yourself. I suppose when you go and play over the board official tournaments, you won't be able to use any engine. So make an effort as a human to think honestly. And after you've given your best ideas to interpret what the heck happened, then you could put the engine on and see if the engine confirms the ideas that you said. I mean, if you're serious about improving or understanding anything, if you're relying on putting the engine on all the time, I think it's just it's complete waste of time. Yeah, we're wasting everybody's time if you do that, especially yourself. Or maybe you don't care about your time, or I don't know, it's your thing. All right, what's this? That apparently is from a real game that happened online in between a CM and another fella, 2300, both of them players. You guys see, yeah? Okay, cool. You have to play with the black pieces here. And you guys free to give your best interpretation. Bishop is pinned. There is a tension in between the rooks. This guy's on the C file. They look a little bit shaky. But also the rook is being like attacked, so to speak. So I wonder. Should I take here first? Should I take that one first? Yeah, I think it's important. I could try maybe something. Is this? That doesn't feel okay, but I guess we kind of can. So two candidate moves that I'm thinking, either rook takes or knight b4. Okay, knight b4, let's say rook takes rook. You play, yeah, but then they could do b3. I don't like it. So probably rook takes, and then king takes though. Okay. And then what? Then we can play this guy, the knight somewhere, and then we kind of like attack two pieces at the same time. 1, 2, 1. Okay, two rooks, two minor pieces, two minor pieces. Probably rook takes, king takes, some knight b4, or maybe some knight e5. Because when we actually play knight e5, the difference being, when you do knight e5, you actually do so the rook attacks the knight and implicitly the bishop behind them, but also the knight attacks the bishop. So I guess again, some let me put some red paint here. So rook takes, king has to take back, and then what? Knight e5. Knight e5. You attack the bishop. The rook attacks the knight and the bishop behind them. Probably this works. Probably. What do you think, guys? Probably this works. That's how I would play it. Now, if there is any other craziness, but there is another thing too. Yeah, you can't take the freaking knight because it's pinned. The bishop is pinned by the rook. So I guess rook takes, king takes, and knight a5. I guess it makes sense, and I'm just gonna play it. If you guys see something else, let me know. If you see another idea, if you notice another idea for black to play here, some different tactics, let me know. Because I think that makes sense. Should you play 95 now? I don't know. No, I'm not convinced. Rook takes, right? Yeah, okay. Whew. Yes, I was correct about this one. So rook takes, that was a forcing move. King took back. And now the question is if it's 95, because you're actually attacking two things at once. It's like a triple threat, so to speak. You attack the bishop with the knight, and the rook attacks everything on the c file, so they can't defend all of them at once. So that's how I would. That's how I'd play this particular puzzle, and I hope I'm correct. I hope I'm correct. Oh, you gotta be kidding me! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Jesus Christ! It looks so playable. It looks so freaking playable. 95. You say? That's a shame. 95. What the hell is wrong on 95? Was it night before? Maybe night before. Why 95? 95, 95, 95, 90. What's the difference? What's the difference? Because it's like looks like two ideas, and I thought 95 actually is a bit more aggressive than knight b4, right? Weird. Okay, knight b4? I don't think it's a check or anything. Oh, not even that. Very, very weird. What is it? Check and why? Let's say the guy goes, I don't know, anywhere. Anywhere. I can't be check. What's going on here? What the heck is going on here? Don't tell me it's a king move. Is it this? Oh my god, there's a backward move. Is this kind of freaking sick puzzles? It's a backward move. It's knight d8 because actually you hit the rook and whatever's on the c file. Yeah, it's a backward move, which I'm not normally considered because I don't want to go backward with the pieces. I want to keep them going forwards and attacking. I don't want to go backward, but in this particular exceptional situation here, a move like knight to d8 attacks the rook and the rook attacks on the c file. So yeah, well, bloody hell. Ay, 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 ay. Yes, of course it's the freaking knight d8 attacking the rook. The rook had to go whatever the rook had to go. And now we're going to start winning material here. And yes, of course, probably 95 is like the second or the third line of the engine. You guys want to see? I guess the move that I said I would play, of course, that was not the strongest move because there's knight d8 stronger than, but I guess 95 is the second move. Knight d8, no. What the heck is wrong with 95? What is wrong with 95? Okay, knight d8, fine, fine, fine. What's wrong with this? What's wrong with this, man? Bishop takes e6, Jesus. Oh, right, bishop takes e6 with check. You can't take because knight. And then you go, I don't know where you go, but this guy's hanging. So knight d8, the only move that actually attacks the rook. The other one is a catastrophe. And also knight d8 protects e6. So knight d8 and if bishop takes e6, of course knight takes e6. So actually we also had to protect e6 at the same time. So this one is not just attacking, but defends e6, which is critical. After bishop takes e6, black is in deep, 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 deep trouble. Boy, they are so deep and complex and tricky here. Okay, fine. Let's have a look here. What's going on? What is going on here? Many things. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at doubling of the rooks. I'm looking at many stuff going on here. Very many stuff. Could be this, it could be this, it could be this, and then this. But it could be others. If you take and queen takes and knight takes d5, you're actually threatening this and winning queen, not just that c7. So let's look at this a little bit. Rook takes, queen takes, knight takes d5, threatening knight f6, winning queen, right? So the queen has to go. And if they want to defend c7, they have to go back to d8, that is. Okay. And then we might have rook a to e1. I guess, right? You could play rook a1 now, but I think they take and you take, and I'm not sure. Is this one something? I'm not sure that anything. Any other stuff? Queen takes g7? Nah, that's a disaster. So again, rook takes, queen takes, knight d5. What is it? Queen e2? Queen e2, rook takes, queen takes. Maybe. Well, could be. So queen e2, rook ae, or this one takes. Three candidate moves I'm considering. Three candidate moves. I would go with the queen on e2 because I'm a little bit concerned about this as well. But queen to e2 makes a lot of pressure on the back rank. Yeah, they could play king. They could do stuff. They don't necessarily have to take. So then again, if rook takes and queen takes and this guy goes here, I think it's interesting. But they can still play the pawn to d6. Even if you play f6, it's a check. King has to go. Let's say the king goes in a corner. Just saying. Then you take the guy's queen, but then they take your queen. And then you can play knight c7 and win the rook on a8. It's getting really, really complex, but I guess it's kind of like makes sense. What do you think, guys? Hello. Okay. Yeah, but yeah. I can't read that easily the comments on the TikTok because TikTok is not on the main chat, so I need to change the tabs and I don't always manage to be on time. Sorry about that. Until TikTok agrees to be a part of the unified chat, it's gonna be difficult for me since I'm multi-broadcasting. I'm not just on TikTok. I'm on other platforms as well. Okay, so particularly this one, I'm tempted to say rook takes c8, but then hey, could be, it could be, it could be some others. Could be some others. If we play now knight d5, if we do it now knight d5, they could play d6. Just saying. But then if they play d6 after knight d5 and they play d6, we take, we check, queen takes, and then we do win the queen. Is there any difference in between knight takes d5 or rook takes first? I don't know. Or maybe there is rook ae1. I still don't know. I think I could narrow down this to two main ideas. Either rook takes c8, or knight d5. Which one is which? One has to be better than the other. Rook takes. I like rook takes. Knight d5. I understand. But then maybe they have time to... Knight takes d5 is interesting, but I think it gives it gives black the chance to find some resources. Whereas rook takes, it's a bit more like forcing move. That's how I look at this. I think it's a bit more forcing. Rook takes is forcing. Knight takes d5, not that forcing. It's kind of a strong move. But rook takes, it's a bit more direct. Rook ae1. Interesting, rook ae1. I don't think it's bad, rook ae1. Queen e2. Probably that's not bad either, queen e2. Which one is the best, though? Yeah, which one is the best? Knight takes, rook takes. Knight takes, rook takes. I think I'm going to take the rook. I'm going to try with the rook. Rook takes. Rook takes, queen has to take, and then knight d5. d6. So rook takes, queen takes, knight d5, and if d6, then we're going to play knight f6 check. King goes whatever the king goes. They can't take because it's pinned. So king goes h8, just say. Then we're going to take the queen, then they take, but then we're going to play knight c7. That means we're going to win the rook on a8. So all things considered, I guess rook e8. You guys let me know. So I'm going to go with this one. Hello, Mr. Goyan. Yeah. It's too... It's a strong idea, rook a1. I thought about that one. But I think the guy takes. And you take. And it's not that urgent in terms that it doesn't really force them into. Whereas rook takes, it's a bit more like forcing. Queen takes and knight takes d5. I think this is the most active way you could play with the whites here. Rook takes, queen takes, knight d5. This is the most threatening idea. Boom. Yes, that was correct. Rook takes, rook on e8 was the most aggressive attacking idea for white. And I was correct with the first move, like I was with the previous puzzle. And now, hell, I hope the next plan is working. So what I was thinking here, Mr. Cohen, is actually knight d5. Knight d5 actually that threatens either knight f6, which wins the queen, or knight c7, which is kind of cool. But I'd rather take the queen. And I think I have a backup plan in case black decides to respond d6. So knight takes d5, d6, knight f6 check, king goes whatever king goes, takes, and knight c7. Therefore, we win rook on a8. So I guess white's doing better after this kind of stuff. I'm not seeing anything else. I don't see anything else available here for white. Anything else seems to be slow, unnecessary. It's not the most urgent thing to play with whites here. So then again, knight d5. What do you think, guys? Let me check my TikTokers. Yeah, thanks for following the ghost, guys. Appreciate if you follow and subscribe. It's slightly more encouraging because neither TikTok nor YouTube are not incentivizing with anything. So I have zero motivation via the YouTube or TikTok, whatever the platform. They're all the same crap. All the same BS. All the platforms. Okay, so 95. Oh man, finally we got one correctly. We got one correctly. So we screwed up a puzzle. We did the second one correctly. But in the first puzzle, I got just the first move correctly. But then I was completely uh, outside the real solution. I didn't play the correct one. I messed up massively. But anyway, here we are now. One done correctly. So one puzzle done. Minus 19, I lost the first puzzle because I messed up. And just one correct. Okay, let's see what have we gotten here. Oh, yeah. We got a rook endings. Rook endings with a very much a passed pawn here on the F file. Yes. Puzzles all day. Puzzles. What on earth is going on? Should we push this pawn up? Maybe there's something about taking. Okay, I'll tell you something. I'm seriously considered taking on h3, and I'll explain why. So rook takes h3, forces black to take. Okay, cool stuff. And then I might be able to play the rook, like the other rook, I mean, somewhere on the E or G. So let's say I'm going G. Let's just say. Then the other rook, probably they have to stop you, right? So they're going to be going like rook F. Okay. Then what the heck am I doing? Do I go? Nah, that doesn't. No. Wait a minute. Takes, pushes the pawn. The guy's gonna go f3 for sure. Certainly. No, wait a minute. Rook takes, rook push check. Yeah. Oh, hold on a second. Rook takes, rook. That's what I thought too. Rook takes, rook takes. Push the pawn. The rook goes behind. Check. What do you mean check? The guy takes. You're not. Whoa. Oh, right. Wait a minute. Rook takes. Push the pawn. No, they go f3. You do the check. King takes. What? Behind the rook h8. Beyond the what? Hold on a second. Rook takes. Wait a minute. Rook takes. Rook takes. Get the pawn to f7. The guy goes f3. You're aware, I assume. How exactly you gonna what? Dude, something doesn't make sense. I'm not against taking the black rook. Don't get me wrong. I'm not against. I think it's a good idea. Probably the correct one. Rook takes, pushing the pawn. I think I agree with you up to this point. Rook takes, push the pawn. Then the rook goes over to f. The rook goes over to f. Well, they might go over to h, but no, I think they go to f. No, I'm not playing the move just yet because I'm very unconvinced. It's got to be clear. I think it's either f6, f7, or it's rook takes rook. It's one of these. It can't be others. Maybe. Or maybe there's another one. Wait a minute, mister. Wait. There's something here. Wait a minute. Man. Rook takes, push the pawn. The guy goes F. Let's just say they go F. It's not good enough. Wait a minute. What if I go here? Rook takes. Oh my god, wait a minute. Whoa. Can I play crazy stuff? Rook h8. Let's say the black rook takes. No, that doesn't work, right? And you push the pawn, then they go in front of the pawn, and that is just simply game over. It doesn't work. Wait a minute. Rook takes. I guess rook takes. No, this one plays here. Rook takes, and then what? You take with a pawn. You take with a pawn, maybe, or maybe you take with a king. It's not clear. Push the pawn. It could be. So, it's one of these two. It's just one of these two. You push the pawn f6 to f7, or you take the black rook on h3. These are the only two ideas. I don't see anything else. But why do you want to play one and not the other? Maybe we should push the pawn. You want to check now? Okay, let me see. You want to check? You want to check the king now to a8, I reckon, right? Rook a8, king takes. What? Yeah, well, I think in between the two, maybe f7. You're one step closer to promoting. And then you could play stuff like maybe you can consider rook takes h3 afterwards. So f7. You know, after a move like f7, for instance, black could do, just saying, black could do things like rook h6. I mean, they could do also the other rook on h8. So you push the pawn, they could do this. Oh, yeah, but then you take, then the guy takes, and then you go here and then you promote. Yes, okay, cool. So push the pawn seems to be the most likely idea. So we're pushing f6 to f7. Yeah, I like f7 a bit more. The more I look at this one, the more I think f7 is actually the real move. F7, I like f7 now. A bit more than rook takes h3. We could take later. f7, f7. It's good. It's got to be good. Yeah. Yes, totally f7. So now they took. Now the question is, do we take with a king or do we take with a pawn? If we take with a king, the guy might have some checks here. You play something, then they go behind the pawn. So that's the thing. Therefore, we have to take with the pawn, right? But on the other hand, if we take with the pawn, we won't be able to stop this guy from moving down. That's got to be something, right? Or it just doesn't mean anything. Oh, you want to check now? All right, you want to check now, and then you promote to check, and then yes, of course, you don't even bother taking the rook anymore. Yes, yeah. Rook a8 check, king takes, and then promoting check. King goes whatever king goes, and then we take the rook with whatever. Probably with the king. Just in order to keep a pawn stopping this guy on the d file. Yes. So rook a8 checks the king. Sort of that the king sort of have to take. They kind of have to. And then we're going to promote check. Queen is there. Winning a tempo. King goes away. Then we take the black rook with something. I don't know, with something. So, correct. Absolutely. Very well, Stockfish 4. Very well, Mr. Stockfish. Queen now, they have to play whatever. And then we take with what? King b3, said the Almighty. King b3. And I think the reason for which why king has to take on b3 is because we keep the pawn stopping this guy. That means medium long term. Still, queen versus rook is winning. We're winning, of course, but it's important we take with the right piece. I don't think taking with a pawn loses for white, but it just creates a bit of complications. I mean, it allows black to hope that this pawn on the d file will be going and stuff and that. Yeah. Makes sense. Makes sense. Absolutely. Totally. Hey, here's another pass pawn here. Here's another pass pawn. I've got an idea. Do you know what I've just thought? If we do a check now, that forces king to go away. Then we get rid of the freaking queen with another check. Queen to d5 check. Then the queen has to take, and then we take. Reason being, we got rid of the queen, and we only need 2 steps to promote. Can they stop us? Not really. I think whatever white would choose to play, the sequence with queen h8 followed by queen d5 allows trade off the queens, and then I think this is the stuff. I'm not sure if that's the correct way to play it, but it looks very promising to do it in this fashion. Queen h8, king a2, queen to d5 check, forcing queen away. Queen takes, rook takes, and mind you, when you play the rook, you also keep an eye on the knight. Therefore, the bishop can't say they do this because they're gonna go here. But there's more to this. You could potentially push the pawn. The bishop's gonna take your pawn, but then you're gonna take the knight, and then you have guaranteed that you're gonna capture the white pawn on e5 because that guy's on a dark square. And all of a sudden, you've created 2 pass pawns on the f respectively e file. So, all in all, at the end of it all, you're gonna end up with the rook versus bishop, but also you're gonna end up with 2 black pawns on f and e file, and these guys are unstoppable. So that's how I think black wins here. Anything else, I think it might be too complicated. And I'm not sure you're forcing anything. So yeah. Yeah, sometimes it's fast, but more importantly is that we gotta play like accurately. I think that's the most important thing. You gotta do this accurately if you can. Yeah, Mr. Slow Salvora, thanks very much, pal, for your ideas. Thanks for the follow. Yeah, I think you referred to the previous puzzle. Oh man, that was indeed the case. But look at white response. Look, I mean, I didn't even think about this one. Is it really bishop blocks now? Interesting. Very interesting. And well, hell, we gotta take the bishop, no? Wait a minute. No, you don't take the bishop. No, I don't think you have to do it very fast, the puzzles, because that's exactly how you lose 20 puzzles in a row. I mean, okay, each to its own, but yeah, definitely for the rook. That's exactly what I was thinking. I don't want to take the bishop. It doesn't add up nicely. Let me tell you why I think is the rook. It's not queen takes on f1, although it's very compelling to play queen takes f1. The reason for which I think is the rook. First thing first, we check and we push the king on a2 as we had discussed previously, and then we go on with the stuff we said. Queen check. The queen has to disappear. If we don't do that, and if we play, say, black queen takes f1, potentially they might have something like this. You tell me you like this one, because I absolutely hate it. And does that you're just simply getting checkmated. We're just getting checkmated here. I'm like, yeah, but the reason is you get checkmated. That's the reason you play the rook. You want to exchange the queen because you're getting completely screwed here if you don't. It's not just trading queens. You don't trade, you die. It's as simple as that. You don't trade, you're getting greedy in the last bit of the game, in the last second, then you just die. You lose the game. Like you get checkmated. So it is imperative now. We go the rook. Exactly as we said previously. So that one was a little bit of a bait. We have to be very careful about this one. So yes, indeed, the rook. King runs away like it's a forcing move, and now we could successfully play the queen to d5, checking. They have to take, and now we take with the pawn by the looks of it, right? Afterwards. So after. So queen check, the guy takes, we taking with this. Dude, I gotta close the window. Okay, so let me play the check. Oh man, that was it. So queen takes. Are you serious? Queen takes, rook takes? I thought it just about take. Okay, hold on a second. Let's assume the puzzle would have continued a bit longer. So queen takes. Oh my lord, ed5 is actually bad. I was well. Okay, I'm not losing, but actually you're supposed to take with the rook. Ah, you back. I mean, hold on a second. If you remember, we discussed that we're gonna push the pawn afterwards. And if the guy takes, you simply take the knight, and then you're gonna take the other pawn, and you end up with rook versus bishop and two passed pawns. That makes a lot of sense. But they're very subtle. You're still winning with the ed4, but it's not the same deal. You're actually having rook versus two minor pieces. This is nightmare. I'll tell you something. Rook versus bishop and knight. This is crazy difficult. Very difficult. Yeah, you probably have a little bit of leverage because then rook can attempt to go and attack the white pawn on e5 and this and that. Okay, you could, but it's different. It's tough. It's rook versus two minor pieces. You may very well lose the game. You know, they can always jump like this, attack this guy on f. I don't know what you're playing. It's difficult. So yeah, totally, Mr. Cohen. It depends massively on the time control. Anyway, guys, we managed together to solve 3 puzzles, which is great. Ah, my type of endgame here. King versus king and freaking how many pawns? 5 versus who's moving here? Oh, black's turn to play. Jesus, look at this mess. Look at this mess here. What is going where? We got to create the pass pawn, I guess. I don't think it's a king move. I think it's a pawn move. And now here comes the wisdom. Which one, for Christ's sake? Is it this one? They don't have to take, though. I'm thinking that in case they take, just in case they take, you could try and do this. And when they take you, at least you're running with this guy. I mean, I'm trying to figure out a way to create a pass pawn because we need to create a pass pawn. But I'm not sure which one of them because it's just like a billion pawns there. It's like a billion pawns. Which one is it? Which one is the pass pawn? What if it's b4? Nah, it can't be b4. No, it's not b4. Nonsense. It's something like a pawn. A pawn or c? Let me look at the c pawn. c4. Well, that's forcing. The guy takes I. Yeah, it's a c4, man. It's c4, not a. Jesus Christ. Look at this one. So c4 threatens actually to take and just go and promote. Well, yeah, it's super easy if you manage to have enough clarity, of course. Not always easy, man. Not always that easy. I'm glad you're overly confident. I guess over the board you're smashing everybody, no? Well, I'm happy you're overconfident and good. I don't think necessarily super easy, but hey, okay, super easy. c4 threatens to take. So now the guy takes. Well, they should take. But even if they take, we're taking back and they take and then we push the e pawn. So that's how we actually, well, if you're actually good at end games, you're going to win all the games because if you make it to the end game and then you're very good at end games, you're going to win them all, no? So the pass pawn black creates is the e, the black pawn on the e file, and c4 seems to be deflecting the d pawn from stopping the e. So that seems to be the beginning of the end for white, and that's how black wins. Hello, Daniel. Good to see you, brother. Hello, Ernest. Good to see you, my friends. Long time no seen. Thanks for the follow, subscribe, like. Appreciate. Okay, C4, and I hope we are correct. Whew. And now the question is, do we actually take or do we just run for the hill? No, we don't run for the hill. Are you crazy? Because they're going to take here and then they're going to be soon after. So it's going to be a nightmare. I think we need to sort of take. Why? Because when they take, they're not going to make it past the D pawn. This is very important. But yeah, but what if the guy plays this then? Then we take. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. It's not over. It's not quite freaking over. Wait a minute. So we take. Okay, fine. Yeah, we do have to take. Yeah, but wait, the king just stops us. Oh no. Oh, come on. No. No. We have to go forward. No, we have to move, man. Then the guy takes, but we are within the promotion square. When they make it to B6, we're actually gonna move the king and stop them. Ta-da! So this is the idea. So we are going to push the pawn forwards, the E5 to E4. So the king will not be able to stop our pawn. That's one idea. Second idea, we allow the white pawn to take on b5. We allow the white pawn to coming down on b6. Because when they go to b6, we're actually stepping in the promotion square and we stop the pawn on time. So for this kind of clarity, you have to that's it. I'm going to go forwards. Yes, thank you very much. Forwards and forwards and forwards and forwards. Yeah, that's the thing. Pawn takes, we going forwards. Pawn goes b6. We just move the king to stop the promotion, and that's about it. So we have solved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 puzzle. We screwed up. I messed up one. Hey, what's with the cam? What the heck is with the camera? Why does it do that? Jesus Christ. Let me try. Maybe I need to refresh or something. I don't know what's going on with the cam, dude. Maybe I need to unplug and this. But gee, I don't know. I don't know. Well, maybe I need to restart the computer altogether. Well, I don't know that. Anyway, what the heck is this? And if I start doing some modifications here, it might just affect the entirety of the stream on this. Remove, rename, filters, properties. Nah, it's going to take forever now. What the heck is this default? Oh, I need to restart the computer, I guess. Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna have to call it a day now, fellas, because the webcam goes crazy. So, yeah, I've done the game analysis for Matthew as exactly as I promised my dear YouTuber friend, and I'm gonna restart the station and maybe gonna get fixed. In the meantime, guys, yeah, be good and be wise.